Regrets, something that all of us experience throughout life, and it's just something that's so common, and unfortunately is a thing that it really does take us away from enjoying the beauty and the mundaneness of life. So today I want to talk a little bit about regrets, some of the regrets I have, and hopefully you can resonate with them, and it might make you feel like you're not going through it alone, because obviously with regrets it can be something that consumes you and holds you down, and it stops you from living in the present, and it completely destroys your future. I have a lot of regrets in my life. I'm 27 years old now, so I've had a lot of experiences. I've done a lot of things that I'm proud of, a lot of things that I'm not so proud of. I've helped a lot of people, I've also screwed over a lot of people. And to be quite honest, I've just lived a life that for the longest time I felt like it was what was right for me, but it wasn't what was right for me. I feel like with me, I'm a very, very self-conscious person. So anytime I do something, I can't ignore it. I can't pretend that didn't happen. I have to go off my brain and ruminate with it for days, weeks, months, sometimes even years. And it's the biggest killer of me, because I know for a fact if I could just accept something and move on from it, I would be 100% better and I'd be a lot further in my life than where I am right now. But unfortunately, what I used to do was I'd always push it back down, and I'd never truly try to understand why I felt that way. How come I'm feeling this way? What are the reasons for me being like the way I am? And this is the biggest thing I want to talk about when it comes to regrets. If you do something that you're not proud of, or you're not happy of, or there's a time in your life where you believe that you could have been a better person but you weren't, as long as you're able to learn from that experience, it's not an experience wasted. It's a lesson. And I wish I could go back to my younger self, and I wish I could tell him that, saying that you did something that you weren't happy about, how it came out in the end, but regardless of it, did you learn from it? If the answer is yes, it's completely worth it. And this is the thing in life, because everybody loves the idea of theory. Theory is one of the things where you see it in school the whole time. It's always the theory of something, how something happens. But being honest, the practice is always so much more important than the theory. And I wish I could be the type of person to watch somebody burn their hand on the stove and realise I shouldn't do that. But I can't be. It's not me. I have to go off and burn my hand on the stove. I have to feel the pain of doing that. I need to know what it's actually like. And unfortunately, from doing this, I get myself in scenarios that I shouldn't be in, and I know I shouldn't be in, but yet there's something in my brain that makes me feel like I need to know what this is actually like. I wish I knew why I was like that, but it's just how I'm made, and it's how I'm born, and that's what I need to say when it comes to this kind of thing. Throughout life, you're always going to have regrets. There's always going to be relationships that didn't work out, either with partners or friends or whatever it is. Sometimes you have to look back and wonder, were they the problem or were you the problem? And now a lot of the times I look back in the relationships I had, and I understand that there was definitely people that I let get away with way too much. I never stood up for myself, and this is the issue with me, because what would happen is I'd let people say things to me and I'd just push it under. I wouldn't say anything back. But what happened was I'd just keep letting it build up and build up and build up. And eventually it would come out, and maybe someone who wasn't deserving of it, or maybe somebody who did say something to me that triggered me, would get 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month's worth of lashings from other issues that had arisen from that experience. And that's not fair. And this is why I always say it's so important for young men. If you do have a lot of anger, if you do have a lot of rage, you need to use it in a practical manner. You can't just subdue it. It doesn't matter. Feelings are feelings, right? Fair enough. I fully agree that boys should cry, yeah? But I fully agree boys should feel their anger. Boys should feel their happiness. Boys should feel every single emotion. Because what the problem is with men is that we are extremely emotional creatures as well. Maybe not as emotional as women, but we have a lot of feelings there. And in the society that we live in, men are shown that they have to act a certain way and be a certain way. The idea of masculinity is completely gone out the window because of all these issues that are arising lately. And there's a crisis with young men and being lonely. But that crisis has arisen from men not being able to feel the way they need to feel. And there's no issue with being able to feel your emotions. And that's the biggest thing I go back and say to myself. It's okay that you're having these feelings, but it's not okay that you're just sitting in your room, lying in your bed, watching Netflix, watching YouTube videos, playing Xbox, and not trying to deal with them or not trying to get them out there. Because what happens is these feelings don't go away. They'll be buried under yourself for months, weeks, years, as many days as it takes, and eventually they'll all come out. And that's why it's so important to play sports, to read, to jog, to exercise, to do things that let your body get rid of these feelings. Because if you don't, you're going to have loads of regrets. And it's not a good thing to have so many regrets going through life. And the thing is, regrets are a massive part of life. You're always going to regret something. The amount of times I've met amazing women in my life that I haven't been able to keep because I haven't been emotionally stable enough. And it's such a shame. It really is. And I have to look back at myself and be honest and be saying, I could have been better in that situation. But at the same time, I wasn't. And look, hindsight is beautiful. Hindsight's 2020. If you could go back and change everything in your life, you probably would. But guess what? You can't. So it's important that at least if you are going to have a terrible situation, you take a lesson from it, you learn from it, continue to move on from that lesson. Don't let it go to waste. Because within regrets, there are lessons, and lessons are the most important thing in life. You are not going to get more value in anything in this world without lessons. So regrets, at the end of the day, they're not too bad, as long as you use them in the right way. With that being said though, if you're going to lie in your room and constantly ruminate about things that haven't gone well in your life, you're going to feel the full impact of regrets because there are no lessons to be taken from that. You've given up. And how are you going to give up when you have a whole life ahead of you? How are you going to not attempt to really see the best possible version of yourself? You owe it to yourself. You don't owe it to anybody else in this world. You owe it to yourself to see what you can do in this world. And look, when it all comes and is said and done, you won't have any regrets then, will you? Because you've tried everything. I love the analogy of the rocking chair method. So when I'm 70 years old, 80 years old, and I'm sitting in my rocking chair and I'm going back through a brain that might be fried at this point because of all the abuse that I've done to it, but I am able to think about all the things that I've done. I can guarantee to you right there and then, I'm not going to be thinking about the things that I did do, I'm going to be thinking about the things that I didn't do. And do you really want that? Do you really want to be in your 70s and your 80s and thinking back to yourself, oh, why didn't I just take that opportunity? Why didn't I take that chance? Why didn't I say that to her? Why didn't I just try? No, you don't. But I guarantee that's what's going to happen. And if you go talk to anybody who's elderly, they'll always tell you that they regret the things that they didn't do, not the things that they did do. So why not just give it a chance? Why not give it a shot? Why not see what you can do in this world? And if you can answer all those questions and you can give solid answers, don't do anything. But I can guarantee that you won't be able to. I guarantee that you won't be able to tell me why you can't do it. And if fear is your reason, good. Fear is good because fear means that you're going into the unknown. The unknown is where you grow. The unknown is where you get your lessons. Lessons are amazing. They're beautiful and you'll learn so much from it. But that's what life's all about. Life's about growing. Life's about being able to experience these things. And unfortunately, regrets are a part of growth because you're going to regret how you did things. And maybe you might regret that you lost. Maybe you might feel like you're a loser, but you're never going to be a loser if you keep trying. How can you lose if you never give up? You can't. It's an endless circle. You can never lose if you never give up. Remember that. The only thing that I'll really regret when it's all said and done is that I didn't put enough hours in. And even right now I'm feeling out with my content because unfortunately I'm in a situation where I'm working 7 days a week and I can be doing a lot more still, but I'm still finding it hard to motivate myself. When regardless, it's not about motivation, it's about discipline. It's about being able to push yourself that little bit extra every time. Going into uncharted territory where you know that this is probably going to make or break you, but you need to see it within yourself if you can do it. And look, if you burn out, if things get bad, well, you know what? At least then next time around, you know you don't do that. But if you never take that chance, if you never walk that walk, if you never jog that jog, if you never run that run, you will never know what things could be like. So don't have regrets in this life. Just have lessons. If you've learned from it, it's no longer a regret. Your story isn't over just yet. You still got more things to do.